Welcome, everyone! Okay, let's jump straight into this. Today, we are taking an absolute deep dive journey into something we all experience, but rarely truly understand: dreams. But listen, we're not talking about modern psychology here. We are unpacking the profound, hidden Kabbalistic mechanics found in ancient esoteric texts, specifically the Zohar. We're decoding the famous story of Joseph's dreams, and we're going to explore this as a very real cosmic interface. Think of it like the server architecture of the divine. How does prophecy actually reach us? It's a dense, highly structured, and literally mind-blowing ride, so get yourselves ready. Here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, we'll look at the 4K heritage dream. Then, lower prophecy packets. Third is the angelic interface. Fourth, Sephirotic mechanics. Fifth, decoding numbers and colors. And finally, we'll talk about upgrading your dimensions. Let's hit it. All right, Section 1, the 4K heritage dream. Before we get into the heavy mechanics, we really need to ground ourselves in the primary event. We have to step back in time and look at this through a totally vivid, almost cinematic lens. So the Zohar opens with this quote, "And Joseph dreamed a dream." And it immediately connects it to this profound verse from Numbers. "If there be a prophet among you, I, the Lord, will make myself known unto him in a vision, and will speak unto him in a dream." This right here sets up the ultimate paradox of divine communication. The Creator wants to talk to us, right? But that signal is so intense, it has to be massively stepped down, translated, and packaged into a medium that our fragile human minds can actually survive receiving. I want you to picture this in stunning 4K heritage-style visuals. It's night. Darkness has fallen over Jacob's ancient tents out in the deep desert silence. Up above, the stars literally begin to tremble. Down below, golden sheaves of wheat suddenly bow down in total submission. But if you look really closely at the very edge of this vision, just lingering there in the shadows, is the immense, imposing figure of Gabriel. The truth is definitely being delivered here, but it's heavily, heavily wrapped in shadow. It's not clear data, it's encoded. Which brings us to Section 2, lower prophecy packets, and our tech analogy. To truly grasp what the Zohar calls the Sod, the secret, hidden conceptual framework of what's happening in that desert night, we need to shift gears and use a modern technological lens. So think about the difference between two main types of divine data transfer. On one side, you have clear prophecy. This is the Moses level, okay? It's a direct, high-speed, lossless download straight from the source. Pure, uncorrupted data. But on the other side, you have dream vision. This is a much lower prophetic medium. The massive cosmic data is broken down into routed packets. It undergoes heavy symbolic compression, like a zip file, so the sleeping brain can actually process it. And because it travels through these lower networks, it naturally picks up a ton of static and noise along the way. And this naturally leads to a massive question, one that ancient sages absolutely obsessed over. Why is truth always blended with falsehood in our dreams? I mean, if it's a message from the divine, why not just give us the straight facts? Why the confusion? Well, the Zohar gives us this incredible foundational principle. Just as there is no wheat without chaff, there is no dream without idle, glitchy data. Because the dream relies on the human imagination, which is that lower prophetic medium we talked about. It's going to naturally pick up the chaff of our daily lives. Your passing thoughts, your random fears, basic neurological misfires. The truth and the falsehood are inherently blended together, which is exactly why dreams absolutely require active interpretation to be of any use. Moving on to Section 3, Gabriel, the angelic interface. If dreams are just packets of compressed data mixed with random noise, who's actually managing the server? Who is routing these packets? Let's look at the hardware and software architecture of the divine. Enter Gabriel. Now, we usually picture angels as these glowing, winged beings playing harps, right? But here, Gabriel is literally the angelic network interface. He is the rigorous routing system. He's the one encrypting the dream data. He administers divine judgment, manages the message delivery, and applies this incredibly complex symbolic encryption that takes a raw, mind-bending cosmic truth and turns it into relatable images, like bowing sheaves and trembling stars. The Zohar maps his domain out so precisely. Gabriel operates exactly at the 6th level beneath pure prophecy. He's the governor of the night, the administrator of the darkness. And because he operates in this lower, darker, denser tier, it's literally his job to add those layers of chaff to the prophetic wheat. He encrypts the message so heavily that only someone holding the right keys, someone like Joseph, can actually decode it. All right, Section 4, Sephirotic Mechanics, the Divine Server Architecture. We are now entering the absolute deepest part of the Kabbalistic mechanics. Let's trace how this data actually descends through the divine server. Here is the exhaustive step-by-step breakdown of how a dream downloads. Step 1, Neziach and Hod. These are the twin Sephirotic pillars of eternity and splendor, and they act as the ultimate source generators for all prophetic vision. They generate the raw signal. Step 2, the data gets funneled down into Yesod, the foundation. Yesod acts as the cosmic dream channel. It narrows that immense, blinding light into a stream that can actually be communicated. Finally, step 3, it hits Malkut, the kingdom. Malkut is the receiver. It's the screen of the imagination where that final, heavily compressed image is actually projected and displayed to the dreamer's mind. But guys, there's a huge tension in this architecture. On one side, you have Gevora, which is Gabriel's primary domain. This is the intense energy of strict judgment, limitation, and heavy, heavy encryption. It wants to hide the truth. But on the other side is Sephirot, the realm of beauty, balance, and core, unadulterated truth. So a true master of dream interpretation has to literally pierce through Gabriel's harsh Gevor encryption to extract that perfectly balanced truth found only in Sephirot. Section 5, Decoding the Data. Numbers and colors. Okay, so how do we actually pierce that encryption? We need the access keys. Let's unpack the specific symbolic variables found directly in the text. First up, the number 60. This is a really famous concept from both the Talmud and the Zohar. A standard, legitimate dream is exactly 1/60th of prophecy. It is highly, highly compressed. The other 59 parts? They're completely filtered out by the system so your mind doesn't literally crash upon receiving the massive data. And here are a few more encryption variables that show up in Joseph's vision and the greater cosmic code. First, there's always one single divine source for the message, but it always arrives in 2 layers. Absolute truth wrapped up in deceptive falsehood, the wheat and the chaff. Then, in Joseph's dream, those 12 stars, they aren't just his brothers. They represent the 12 cosmic tribes, the fundamental energetic pathways of the universe, bowing to a central axis. And you've got to pay attention to colors in these texts. Red signifies Gabriel's strict judgment and heavy encryption, while white signifies the pure, unadulterated revelation of truth shining right through that night darkness. Section 6, Upgrading your dimensions. Look, understanding these ancient mechanics is absolutely fascinating, but how does this actually apply to us right now? Let's pivot to the practical, multi-generational application of these super heavy mystical concepts. We can actually translate this for the whole family. For the kids listening, think of this as the video game version. Your dreams and honestly, sometimes your daily life are full of glitchy data and total distractors. Your goal? You need to level up by actively filtering out the noise and the chaff so you can find your true quest. Now, for the adults, this is pure cosmic engineering. We are trying to achieve Sephirotic alignment by consciously balancing our own internal Netzach and Hod, meaning our drive and our empathy, our vision and our reality. We clear out the channel of Yesod. And when Yesod is clear, we receive much clearer, far less encrypted intuition in our daily lives. And this brings us to a really provocative final thought. The Zohar states an incredibly powerful rule. All dreams follow the mouth. What does that mean? It means a dream is literally just suspended potential until it is spoken aloud and interpreted. The interpretation itself is what actually finalizes the reality. You hold the power to shape the data. So ask yourself, how will you interpret the compressed, noisy data of your own life this week? Will you get distracted by the glitchy falsehood? Or will you do the work to extract the profound truth? Thank you for joining us for this complete journey through the Pardes. We hope these ancient truths help you and your family improve your own dimensions this week. If you enjoyed this full chapter deep dive, please like, subscribe, and share which part of the journey touched your soul in the comments. We'll see you in the next chapter.